I'm Jana Mohammad Zaki and this is Nightline, the top stories. Malays may react to anti-Jawi Congress by Dong Zong, says Tun Dr. Mahathir. And floods wreak havoc in Narathiwat, more than 62,000 evacuated. The Prime Minister on Friday cautioned of repercussions if Chinese education group Dong Jiaozhong goes ahead with a planned congress over the teaching of Jawi script in vernacular schools. Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said such an action may only result in retaliation from Malay groups.
That will only result in Malays having their congress and also talking about closing down Chinese school and all that. You do that kind of thing, you get reaction. We are a multiracial country. It is important for us to be considerate about other people's fishing.
The Prime Minister was speaking to reporters on the sidelines of the KL Summit 2019 on Friday. He said the people have to be sensitive towards other races and refrain from making unnecessary attacks, as it would only lead to chaos and instability. The Chinese educationist group, which is opposing the implementation of Jawi in vernacular schools, plans to hold the Congress on December 28th at the New Era College in Kajang, Selangor. Meanwhile, Dr. Mahathir has reiterated his calls for all Muslim countries to cooperate with Malaysia, Pakistan and Turkey to counter Islamophobia through the formation of a television channel. He also expressed hope that through the cooperation, the Muslim countries can erase all anti-Muslim propaganda which have become out of control, as well as the perception that Muslims are terrorists.
Kita berpendapat bahawa terlalu banyak propaganda yang anti-Muslim termasuk Islamofobia, dan adalah penting kita jelaskan apa yang berlaku, apa sebenarnya agama Islam, sama ada agama Islam itu adalah agama teroris ataupun tidak. Inilah kerjasama yang kita harap kita boleh buat.
The Prime Minister initially made such proposal when he met Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan on the sidelines of the 74th United Nations General Assembly in New York in September. Tun Dr. Mahathir has said that the effort to set up the English television channel would be spearheaded by the Information Department of Malaysia, Turkey and Pakistan. This is to address the confusion on Islam, as the three countries felt that many reports about the religion and Muslims were inaccurate and did not reflect its true principles and values. On another issue, Dr. Mahathir said American leaders on both sides of the political divide must realize now that US President Donald Trump is the wrong leader for the Western superpower. The Prime Minister believed that was the reason the US House of Representatives impeached Trump.
That is a judgment of Congress, mostly, of course, Democrats. But I'm quite sure even Republicans feel that he's the wrong leader, that he has breached their rules and laws and also their constitution. Therefore, he is impeached.
On Wednesday, the U.S. House of Representatives had voted for a Senate trial to remove Trump from office 3 years into his term as president. The 45th U.S. president is only the third occupant of the White House to be impeached. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng on Friday made it clear he has not approved the sale of any national assets. He stressed that international credit ratings agencies' affirmation of Malaysia's sovereign credit rating at A- or A3 with stable outlook was strong evidence that the government had been prudent and transparent in its fiscal management. In a statement, Lim emphasized that he had not approved any sale of national assets and land, which in fact was implemented by other agencies not associated with his ministry. He also said that the recent positive reports from the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund (IMF) had also confirmed Malaysia's fiscal position as previously reported by the government. The minister said Malaysia was reported to be making progress on the reform agenda, which had seen sustainable economic growth, subdued inflation and a current account surplus. Overall, the government's debt and liabilities has decreased from 79.3% of the gross domestic product (GDP) in end 2017 to 77.1% as at end June 2019. This shows the success and commitment of the Pakatan Harapan-led government in its debt and liabilities consolidation efforts. In the medium term, the government targets to further lower its total debt and liabilities to 65% of the GDP by end of 2025. The government will continue to ensure Permodalan Nasional Berhad (PNB) practices good governance with accountability and transparency. Economic Affairs Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali said the lowest dividend payout for its Amanah Saham Bumi Putra ASB Trust unit announced recently was due to legacy issues with the previous government, with the previous management, and the new management has done their best despite the current economic challenges.
Yang penting is the issue of governance. We want to make sure that PNB is being governed dengan ketelusan, kebertanggungjawaban. But PNB will do the explanation. But it involved 9 billion ringgit. It's not small amount of money. Dalam keadaan sekarang, I think PNB has done their level best to ensure that the depositors and the shareholders will get a better return for the next many years to come.
Datuk Seri Azmin also stressed that the decline of local stocks was one of the factors to the weak ASB payout, apart from the uncertain global economy. On Wednesday, PNB announced a total income distribution payout of 9 billion ringgit or 5.5 sen per unit for ASB unit holders, comprising a 5 sen distribution and a 0.5 sen bonus for the year ending December 31st, 2019. Meanwhile, commenting on Malaysia Airlines Berhad's search on a strategic partner, Datuk Seri Azmin said Khazanah Nasional Berhad has yet to decide as current proposals are not attractive enough.
This matter was discussed, but the proposal which was presented in the board meeting was not attractive enough for us to decide. So the chairman and Prime Minister and the board agreed that we should look into other options before we can come up with the final decision on this.
He added Khazanah has received over 20 proposals by potential partners from both regional and international players, and 4 was shortlisted. A decision on MA as a strategic partner is expected to be finalized by early next year. Khazanah Nasional Berhad on Friday announced that the country's leading e-wallet service providers, Touch and Go e-wallet, Boost and GrabPay, have been selected to participate in the federal government's 450 million ringgit e-Tunai Rakyat initiative. The 3 e-wallet service providers are among Malaysia's largest and collectively provide a ready platform for the program, which is scheduled to be launched on January 15th next year. Khazanah in a statement said Malaysians 18 years of age and above who earn less than 100,000 ringgit annually will be eligible to receive 30 ringgit each through any of the participating e-wallets. The Sovereign Wealth Fund was appointed by the Finance Ministry to facilitate and coordinate the implementation and launch of the e-Tunai Rakyat initiative within the given time frame. Members of the public can also visit the websites of the e-wallet service providers for further information on the initiative. Goldman Sachs is close to reaching a settlement of nearly $2 billion with the U.S. Department of Justice over the One Malaysia Development Berhad 1MDB scandal. The agreement was reached in efforts to settle allegations that the Wall Street firm ignored red flags while billions of dollars were looted from 1MDB. The Wall Street Bank is said to be formulating a deal under its Asian subsidiary rather than the parent company would plead guilty to violating U.S. bribery laws. In the agreement, the company would also have to agree on continuing oversight of its compliance procedures from an independent monitor in order to resolve a criminal probe into its role in the scandal. The settlement package would end the U.S. Justice Department's investigation into Goldman Sachs' role as an underwriter and arranger of bond sales for the wealth fund, totaling $6.5 billion. A deal could be reached next month. The government has no plans to extend the mandatory use of the child restraint system in private cars to other types of vehicles. Transport Minister Anthony Loke Siu Fook said for now the focus of the mandatory use of child safety seats was on private vehicles only.
Jadi ini sebagai satu permulaan terlebih dahulu. Kita akan lihat sejauh mana keberkesanannya. Kalau kita nak peluaskan kepada kenderaan lain, itu akan mengambil masa sedikit.
Di Parlimen hari itu ada.
Loke said this when asked if there were plans to extend the CRS ruling to other vehicles like bus, ambulance and e-hailing vehicles. Asked on concerns about the high price of child safety seats, Loke said the prices were expected to drop with an increase in demand and offers. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah officiated Masjid Nabawi-inspired Al-Bukhari Mosque at Bandar Sungai Pinang, Pulau Pinang on Friday. Clad in baju Melayu with sampin, he arrived at the mosque accompanied by Pulau Pinang Governor Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Tun Abdul Rahman Abbas. After delivering a brief speech, he officiated the mosque and joined the congregation for Friday prayers. Also present were Pulau Pinang Deputy Chief Minister Wan Dato' Ahmad Zakiuddin Abdul Rahman and Media Prima Group Chairman Dato' Said Hussein Al-Junaid. The 12 million ringgit mosque was fully funded by the Al-Bukhari Foundation. The tall white minaret of the mosque with green neon lights at the top was inspired by the design of An-Nabawi Mosque minaret in Medina. The mosque's prayer hall can house up to 2,000 Muslims for congregational prayers at any one time. After this break, check out the new Lexus NX 300 in Nightline's auto segment. Stay tuned. Nightline continues with the auto segment. When the Lexus NX was introduced in Malaysia in 2015, it offered a great entry point into the Lexus marquee. But as time went on, the imported from Japan NX got sidelined by the cheaper, locally assembled Mercedes-Benz GLC class, BMW X3 and Volvo XC60. In order to keep the NX competitive, Lexus Malaysia unveiled new 2019 Lexus NX lineup, which combines lowered prices with improved equipment levels, making it a more attractive proposition. Raymond Goh, who took one for the spin variants for a spin, shares the details.
Hi, I'm Raymond Goh. Welcome once again to Nightline's auto segment Hot on Wheels. And today, this is our first impression of the 2019 Lexus NX 300. This is of course the twin turbo 2-liter engine, which puts out some 235 horsepower with 350 Newton meters of torque. We've just come out from the station, and this is my first time sitting in this premium SUV from Lexus, and I must say it certainly looks premium. Lexus Malaysia has dropped the hybrid NX 300H, leaving the Urban, Premium and F Sport as the available trim levels. The twin-scroll turbo 8ARFTS is paired to dynamic torque control automatic wheel drive and a 6-speed conventional automatic transmission with shift paddles. The Lexus NX 300 has the capability to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 7.1 seconds and a top speed of 200 kilometers per hour. The biggest news is the addition of Lexus Safety System Plus or LSS Plus on all variants. The suite of safety systems addresses 3 key areas of accident protection: preventing or mitigating frontal collisions, keeping drivers within their lane, and enhancing visibility during night driving. Immediately, there's a vibration which tells you that, hey, you've changed lanes without putting your signal on. And that's good because there's no audio, it's just a nice vibration. Kind of reminds me of another luxury SUV. The LSS Plus also includes pre-collision system with brake collision assist, active cornering assist, and dynamic radar cruise control. Now there's what they call an active / adaptive cruise control, which you can use from 0 kilometers per hour, which means it will keep a distance and you can literally use it in the city. Imagine you can drive in the city and just let the cruise control take over. It will stop by itself and it will take off by itself as well. And it will keep a certain amount of distance. Also new and available across the board is an adaptive high beam system for the 3-beam LED projector headlamps that came with a facelift. As for the rest of the safety kit list, the 2019 NX 300 comes with 8 airbags and a reverse camera with dynamic guidelines, with a premium variant getting the blind spot monitor and rear cross-traffic alert as well. Besides the LSS Plus and the LED headlamps with AHS, the NX 300 range gets 18-inch two-tone alloys, front LED fog lamps with cornering function, powered steering adjustment, dual-zone auto aircon with rear vents, electronic parking brake, 8-inch screen with remote touch controller, and the Lexus Premium audio system. The Premium also gets ventilated and heated front seats and power folding and reclining rear seats. I must say that the soundproofing is also premium, which by the way is what Lexus has become famous for. Once upon a time when they first launched the Lexus, it was even quieter than the Mercedes and the BMWs, the European cars. It goes to show that a lot of work has gone into the soundproofing. We don't exactly know how much, how many kilograms of sound deadening pieces of equipment they've installed here, but it feels very premium. Revised downward, the NX 300 Urban is now priced at 313,888 ringgit, while the NX 300 Premium is 333,888 ringgit. The NX 300 F Sport gets the biggest price reduction from 404,000 to 349,888 ringgit. Raymond Goh for Nightline's Auto segment.
Death toll from India protest rises to 14. More on this when we return. Nightline continues. The flood situation in the southern of Thailand remained grim on Friday, with more than 63,000 people being evacuated. So far, 6 districts in Narathiwat have been declared disaster zones, namely Sungai Golok, Sukirin, Weng, Chanet, Sisakorn and Rusak. According to Narathiwat Governor Ekarat Leeson, the flooding along the Sungai Golok River in Narathiwat has worsened as the water level rose to 2 meters from the river bank, forcing about 51 families to be evacuated to temporary shelters. Ekarat said the authorities, including the army, are providing urgent assistance to flood victims. This has been the second time that Narathiwat has been hit by flooding for 2 times in 1 month. Media reports also indicated that prices of farm produce have risen as agricultural areas were inundated by flood water. In Myanmar, dozens of Rohingyas, including children, were brought to a court in the town of Patin on Friday to face charges of illegally travelling without proper documents. The group of 93, including 23 children, were arrested on November 28th on a beach in the Irrawaddy Delta region while fleeing apartheid-like conditions in western Myanmar's Rakhine state. It is understood that they were brought in to listen to the testimony of an immigration officer who accused them of not having necessary documents for travelling. Their defence lawyer, Tazin Mint Miadwin, meanwhile said they ran away from Rakhine State to escape trouble. If convicted, they face up to 2 years in prison. The court then set January 3rd for next hearing. Four new protesters have died in fresh clashes with police in northern India, bringing the death toll to 14 in more than a week of unrest triggered by a contentious citizenship law seen as anti-Muslim. Authorities have also shut down the internet and imposed a curfew in parts of Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka states as they tried to control the situation. According to local officials, the 4 protesters were shot dead during clashes in the city of Mangaluru, with 6 others were killed earlier in the northern state of Assam. Earlier in the day, fresh clashes between the police and demonstrators had also erupted after Friday prayers at the nation's largest mosque in New Delhi, amid heavy security deployment by the police, who detained dozens of demonstrators. Third stage action from the Tour de Selangor. Stay tuned. Sports cycling, the 2019 Tour de Selangor. Marcus Cully of Team Sapura Cycling retained the yellow jersey for the 3rd time in a row as he put on an impressive display to win the 3rd stage of the race from Cyberjaya to Bukit Jugra on Friday. Cully was once again the man to watch as he finished the 90.5 kilometers race with a time of 2 hours, 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Piping another Sapura rider Muhammad Zawawi Azman, Robin Christopher Rado Lopez of Terengganu Inc. cycling team and Hayato Okamoto from Aisan Racing team by 10 seconds. With the victory, Cully also retained the polka dot jersey as the king of the hill and the green jersey as the sprint king. Meanwhile, national rider Muhammad Nur Aiman Muhammad Zarif of TSC grabbed the white jersey as the best young rider. The 4th stage will commence on Saturday from Selayang to Sungai Besar, covering 144.6 kilometers. A group of bakers in Poland have created a gingerbread city that includes houses, towers, 2 moving trains and a windmill, as well as an impressive castle that is made up of thousands of gingerbread bricks. Let's take a look as we wrap up Nightline this time around. I'm Jana Muhammad Zaki. Thank you for tuning in and take care.